Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a comparison of the Beautyblender and the Givenchy makeup blending sponge. Now I picked this up in the Boxing Day sales and it was a really good price. I think I got it for just over a £5, which is brilliant. Usually it's £13 and this is £16, the original Beautyblender. Now I've had about 3 of these sponges and I really stand behind them. I think they are amazing. They are the best sponge I've tried yet. I tried the Fenty Beauty one, the Eco Tools one, the Real Techniques one, the Dior one as well, and this still comes out on top for me. But I was really curious to see what this sponge would be like because it's got a totally different design, as you can see. It's almost like a spinning top and it's actually really comparable in feeling to the Beautyblender. I mean, this one is still slightly more bouncy, but this is still very comparable. So it's not like it's going to be an exact dupe. I mean, you're saving £3 if this is better, but I do like the design of this and I'm just curious to see how it works out basically. I've never tried it before. I wanted to do like a first impressions and a comparison between the two. So on this side of my face I'm going to use the Givenchy sponge, on this side of my face I'm going to use the Beautyblender. I'm going to be using my Fenty Beauty foundation. This is in the shade 260. I have reviewed this already back when I first started making YouTube videos, so I sound quite funny, I have to be honest. But yeah, I'm going to just put 2 pumps in the back of my hand like so, and I wanted to use like a really good coverage foundation to get a good idea of how the sponges work. I'm going to go on this side first, and by the way, if you couldn't tell, I've already colour corrected, I've already done my brows, and I've put something on my lips as well. So I put quite a generous amount on. By the way, I'm using totally natural lighting today. Okay, straight away I really like the tip of this because it means that I can be very precise when I'm applying the makeup. Oh, and try not to get it on my lips. Take whatever's left in the back of my hand and apply it to this side of my face. I will apply equal amounts to make it as fair as possible. And then taking my original Beautyblender, I'm going to blend it in. Honestly, to me there is not much of a difference at all. I feel like I've got the same amount of coverage from both sides, and if I look at the sponges, they both seem to have absorbed the same amount of product. I know this is why some people don't actually like using sponges, because when you use a sponge it is going to take up some of your product, but that's actually why I prefer to use a sponge sometimes over a brush, because it just takes away all the excess that you don't actually need and stops you from looking cakey. So far, there's actually not a difference at all that I can see from either side. There's not one side that looks more cakey, there's not one side that looks like less blended out. So far, they're pretty much performing the same. Now I'm going to be using my all-time favourite concealer, which is the Kevyn Aucoin Essential Skin Enhancer in 07. And this is like a really creamy formula, and I haven't used it in a while actually. I'm going to be testing how both the sponges manage to blend this out, so let's see. Okay, so taking the other end of the Givenchy sponge, which is obviously cleaner. Wow, I actually am obsessed. Can you guys see how close under my lower lash line I'm getting with this because of the point? That's amazing. I'm so happy with that. And it can cover my whole eyelid without going over my eyebrow as well. Wow, that is super impressive. Okay, I'm going to see the other side now. Without even thinking about it, naturally I'm squeezing my Beautyblender to make it a little bit more ergonomic and so it can fit under my eye. I don't think I've actually managed to get as close under my lash line here as I could here because of the shape of the Beautyblender. Yeah, see, to me, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but to me, this side is looking more flawless than this side, only because I've just managed to be able to get underneath more. And I would actually say that the Givenchy sponge soaked up less of the concealer, which has left me with more coverage, than on this side where I can still see a little bit of darkness because the Beautyblender took a bit too much product up, which is quite surprising. I was not expecting that actually. So I'm just going to now bake with both those sponges, and I'm going to use the Kat Von D loose powder. So I've used the same side of the sponge, loaded it with powder. Maybe I'll just tap it off a bit. I'm just going to apply that. Okay, again, I'm just loving how accurate I could be with where I wanted to apply that. I'm just going to put that in the smile lines as well. I think the final test will be to see how it works with cream contour. So I'm just going to run and get a cream contouring product. I don't tend to cream contour a lot, but when I do, I like to use a nice damp sponge to blend it out. And then that's going to be our final test. And then I'll give you like my thoughts and feedback on the Givenchy sponge so far. My overall thoughts on the Givenchy sponge versus the Beautyblender is I actually think this is really comparable. This is definitely better than the Fenty one. It's got a lot more hold than the Fenty one has. It's got a little bit more hold than the Eco Tools one has, and it's 100 times better than the Real Techniques one, which I don't really recommend to be honest, because that just falls apart. I actually think this is almost identical to the Beautyblender. The only difference is the Beautyblender has a tiny bit more bounce, but actually in terms of performance on my face, there's been like no difference at all. It's given me the exact same coverage for my foundation. It's not left any cakey look on my face. It's been amazing to bake with and get under the eyes, and even to conceal with. I actually prefer this sponge. So for foundation, I'd say they both come out the same. They both blend it out really beautifully. For concealer, the Givenchy one comes out on top because it got right under the eye and it can get into all the nooks and crannies of the face, which is brilliant. For baking, again, I'd say the Givenchy one is a little bit better just because you can be a bit more precise with it. And for cream contouring, they're the same. I didn't really see a big difference. That was more like my silliness to use a cream powder when I just powdered my face. That was silly. So they both came out on top, which means the Givenchy one has actually beaten the Beautyblender, which is crazy to me because the Beautyblender is like my tried and tested. I bought 3 of these sponges and these are £16, so that is not a cheap thing to buy. That's why loads of people try and get like more affordable alternatives. I actually really like this, and I never thought I'd see a day where the Beautyblender would be beaten in my eyes, because I literally have tried so many like different versions of this. But this one for me has actually worked really well. This is amazing, and the fact that it's £13 but I got it on sale on Feel Unique means that it's probably going to be on sale again, and next time it's on sale I'm going to be picking up a backup of this. It's really hard to find the Beautyblender on sale, and now that I found something that I actually slightly prefer, I think I'm just going to be buying these from now on. I mean, I wish it was easily available in other places, but Feel Unique is like a really reliable website which I use all the time, and I just wish I'd got like 2 or 3 of these now because it was on such a good sale. But anyway, if you're watching this video and you are wanting to invest in a really good beauty sponge, I'm going to say go for the Givenchy one because it's pretty much near identical. It's just more precise and it gives you more control and precision with your makeup application. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you hit thumbs up and click subscribe before you go. Thank you so much for watching, and also leave me a comment below. Let me know what your favourite beauty blending sponge is. Do you actually like the Real Techniques one? Do you prefer another one that I haven't mentioned? I'd be really interested to know because I'm always trying to find like the best way to apply my makeup. Bye guys!